Good morning, friends. Today I am going to share with you one of the basic questions about the tax audit under the Income Tax Act. So, I am going to talk about the income tax audit forms and their application. So, as we know, for the purpose of the income tax audit under the Income Tax Act 1961, there are three commonly forms used for the purpose of tax audit report. One is Form 3CA, second is Form 3CB, and third form is Form 3CD. So let us see the applicability of each form. As we know, Form 3CA and 3CB are the audit forms or audit report forms used under the Income Tax Act 1961, applicable for mandatory tax audit under the Income Tax Act, and particularly the section 44AB of the Income Tax Act, wherein the threshold limit has been specified. If an assessee cross that limit based on the turnover, then tax audit under section 44AB of the Income Tax Act is applicable to his case. The choice between how to make an appropriate choice between the form 3CA or 3CB, it basically depend upon the whether the taxpayer account has already been audited under any other law, like in case of companies where the companies are required to get their accounts, annual accounts audited, and whether the accounts are not eligible for audit under any other law. So, after making an appropriate choice of 3CA and 3CB, both the forms must be filed along with Form 3CD, which contains the statement of particulars and that mentioned about the finding of the audit. So, let us first of all understand what is Form 3CA. The purpose, the taxpayer who is required to get their accounts audited under a different law like Companies Act, they must use Form 3CA for their income tax audit. The applicability or applicability of Form 3CA is basically applies to those companies or other entities that are subject to statutory audit. So in this case, the tax auditor relies on the previously audited financial statement. For example, a private limited company or a limited company whose accounts are required to be audited under the Companies Act, they must use and select Form 3CA for their tax audit purpose under Section 44AB. Whereas, if we talk about Form 3CB, a taxpayer who is not required to get their accounts audited under any other law, they must use Form 3CB for the purpose of their tax audit. And this form is used for independent tax audit, especially for compliance under the Income Tax Act 1961. Typically applies to proprietorship, partnership firms, HUF that cross the turnover threshold limit mentioned under the 44AV for the purpose of tax audit, but they are not required to get their accounts audited under any other law. For example, if you talk about a partnership firm having a turnover of more than specified limit under 44AB and not required to get their accounts audited under any other law, they should use or they must use the Form 3CB. So now it has been clarified, if an assessee required to get their accounts audited other than Income Tax Act, then they must use Form 3CA, otherwise they are required to use Form 3CB. So, my dear friends, apart from 3CA and 3CB, whatever form that you are using for the purpose of your tax audit, it always to be annexed or attached with Form 3CD. Form 3CD contains a lot of information section wise and the various requirement under the Income Tax Act, wherein you have to report each and every aspect as per the forms and then report to the income tax department timely. Whatever time limit is being mentioned, you need to report both the form 3CA and 3CD, or 3CA and 3CD, or 3CB or 3C, whatever it is, and applicable as per the appropriate cases required to be submitted to the income tax department. Particularly, what happens in the practical life, normally the form of chartered accountants who are doing the audit, statutory audit, or they are doing the income tax audit, they are basically filing the form 3CA or 3CB along with the 3CD to the income tax authority of the respective clients timely. Hope, my dear friends, you are you have got some insight about the form 3CA, 3CB, and 3CD. And if you like my channel or like the content that I am going to share with you, please subscribe and share my channel. And in the next upcoming video, or in my next video, hopefully I will come with a good content and good topic with you. Till then, stay good, stay blessed, and thank you very much for your kind support and good comments. Thank you very much, my dear friends. Thank you very much.